listen.
Never in my life associated the word boring with baseball.
We know what's up.
Me? Yeah. Famous? Yeah.
And I'm like giddy over there smiling like, we're about to win this shit.
Did everyone give you crap? Give me a good host story.
I'm not picking it up.
We both love the game.
We talk about it every day.
Get off baseball.
Having some popcorn, you're fooling around your phone.
I'd have to wait in line for 3 hours.
Hang on, because it's about to be a wild ride.
I've been trying to think of something else to say.
It's okay. You're just deliver it the regular way, man.
There's
awesome.
nobody I'd rather talk to on the planet than the great Adam Ottavino.
Thanks, Rob. I feel the same, man.
See, finally. Yeah, I had to do one with Evan Drellick the other day, and I couldn't bring myself to say that with all sincerity. I was honest about it. I said, yeah. I mean, I'm honest every time I do it, Adam. Honestly, I'm on it. I think you know that by now. We've talked about this. The impact.
Yeah, and if you're first of all, the impact's tremendous. The brand is hot. I love it. But if you're talking to Evan Drellick, you're probably talking about collective bargaining, which is not exactly the happiest topic. So as much as I enjoy his work, I agree with you. It's not exciting.
Well, that I've known Evan too long. We actually, as I said, we used to do a radio show together on the weekend, and they literally hired someone to be a third person because we were yelling at each other so much. So that was before labor strife.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. The more you learn.
It's a complicated relationship, but we had a good conversation about labor and earmuffs, lockout, and all that stuff. I'm not scared of the lockout. I'm not scared. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm not. Your baseball and coffee is going to power through. There's college baseball to be done. There's plenty of stuff to happen. I'm not scared of it.
I don't want it to happen, but I know that the lockout's a certainty. So it's just a matter of
it's happening.
But I mean, that's not the thing that I worry about. I worry about, baseball being lost. But I mean, the lockout's going to happen. It's part of the strategy. So it is what it is.
What do you remember about, where were you again? I lose track. Like, what were you?
That was between Red Sox and Mets. So that was 21-22 when we had the last lockout. So yeah, I didn't sign before the deadline, the imposed deadline. I didn't sign until March 2nd. And then maybe it was March.
Right when it ended? Right when it ended?
Right when it ended. Then I signed a week after that, 5 days after that, and then flew to St. Lucie. Spring training was ongoing, and I just kind of caught up just in the nick of time to make it to opening day. But yeah.
Was that weird? Like being a free agent at that time, or?
Yeah. Looking back on it now, yeah. And it did seem like there was a little bit of a frenzy there right before the lockout happened. It was almost like a deadline. So a lot of stuff happened and then we were just waiting it out. So yeah, it was weird. But the whole time in that situation, I remember being pretty sure that we were going to play based on everything I was hearing. So it was just wait it out and do what's best for you when you sign, and eventually just make sure you're ready for the season. Don't short circuit the process. That was what I was telling myself. And it was fine. It was fine.
It was fine. I remember they had the meeting in Jupiter. Everyone's the end of the earth. And then a week later it gets settled. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry to do that. That's bad on me. Let's talk about more happy times. I will get to the news that you're still pitching. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah.
Why don't we just start there? Why don't we start there? Right?
Okay.
So I want to take people behind the curtain. Okay. What was it? What morning was that? Monday morning.
Monday. Last Monday.
Monday morning. Hey, you going to pitch in the WBC? Yep. You are? Right? Okay. Adam Ottavino, and I phrased it very poorly, by the way. Adam Ottavino has been told that he's on Team Italy. People are they making him play? So anyway, and you said, who told you? How do you know? And I just said, my instincts are keen. But it always stuck in my head. You know why? Here's the reason why, I think. is because you know how obsessed I am for getting people to retire on the podcast.
Yes, yes, yes.
That was always the obstacle of you saying anywhere along those lines, because you said, I think at one point I might play in WBC. So that was always in my head.
Right. Yeah.
I never let that
No,
go.
I meant it.
Yeah, I know. So take me through how that went down.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working the back channel, aka Ned Coletti and Francisco Cervelli, basically for the better part of a year. And initially, they had the interest, in me at the upcoming WBC, and I was surprised at the time. But then when I thought about it more, and even when I was done playing, I wanted to make sure that they knew that I was still interested in playing. Overall, it's just a great event. I've done it twice. I played for Italy in '09. I played for US the last time, and I don't know if you've played in it. It's not that much of a time commit. So it's not that long, but it's a super exciting, fun thing. And I'm of the opinion that in life, you should definitely do some fun things. So I just kept that option open. I kept following up. When I first stopped playing, I was definitely not working out for a while, and I was digging the hole pretty in a poor direction. But then I snapped out of that, got back in shape, and then I've been throwing, kind of waiting to see. And then finally the other night, randomly, I wake up at midnight. I had gone to sleep early, but I woke up to go to the bathroom, and I look at my phone, and there's a group text, and I'm reading through it. And basically the gist of the text is, we haven't decided everything, but if you're getting this text, welcome to Team Italy. So I was like, holy cow. Now I got to really get ready. I got to schedule these bullpens, and I got to do good. So that's when you actually texted me the next morning.
That's even better. I mean, so you woke up in the middle of the night, you see this text. Did you respond to the text? Hey, thanks for welcoming me? I mean,
no, nothing. There's a little video on the bottom of the text from Vinny Pasquantino where he's talking about how he's fired up because he's the guy, And then that's it. I went to bed. I showed my wife. I said, oh, all right, this is real now. So we have to plan accordingly. And then the next morning you wrote me and I was like, damn, I guess this must be out there. But no, it wasn't out there. It was just that you had keen instincts. That was it.
Hold on. I have to look up what time I text you now. Hold on. Because now I feel like I'm almost scary how good my instincts are.
Yeah, it was sometime in the morning because I remember I worked out.
So I mean, I don't think I'm revealing anything bad here. Thursday, 10:36 a.m. Are you pitching in WBC? Which is me, by the way, sitting in.
So
Starbucks.
It was Wednesday night. Yeah,
Wednesday night.
And I found out. Yeah.
So that's me sitting in Starbucks saying, "What should I do today?" I'll ask Adam Ottavino if he's playing the WBC. He's like, "Yeah, I got word last night. Team Italy, correct?" And then you're like, then at 1:14 p.m. Which after a couple hours of just staring at a wall saying, how did this happen? You say, how did you find out?
Yeah, because my wife is like, oh, how did Rob know? And then I was like, I don't know. Maybe he saw it on the internet. And then I asked you, hey, how'd you know this?
Yeah.
And you were like, my instincts are keen. And I was like, oh.
That's exactly what I wrote.
He just guessed. And then she was like, oh, wow, that's funny. And then that was it.
Well, but it's an even better story now that you woke up in the middle of the night, which is kind of a bizarre way to. I mean, so it had everybody on it who's playing?
Yeah, there is I saw the list, but from what I also gathered from this text message that was interesting was basically that if you got the message, you were in, but not everybody's getting the message that's on the list yet. So, don't talk about the list, I guess. I don't know. But then also since then, I got a subsequent follow-up call from Ned where he's like, hey, it did occur to us, we want you on the team, but it did occur to us that, you haven't played in a while. You didn't pitch since April. So would you mind coming to Florida for a few days, beforehand and, face some hitters and get your feet under you. So, you can get more prepared and we can get a better look at you. So of course, at that point I was like, oh, damn, they're probably right. I should do that. I definitely owe that to them. So that's also going to be happening. But it came at me pretty fast.
It was. I expected you to say that Ned Coletti called you and said, "Actually, sorry, you weren't supposed to be on that text."
Well, I think you do. it all sounds like, oh, I'll be the 40-year-old vet in the bullpen and I'll help these guys and I'll pitch a little bit and in the right matchups. And all that sounds easy enough. But then like when you do actually think about how you're going to try to win 3 games in the first round, they do want to know what I got in me, because if they want to know if I'm the guy to go face the right-handed hitter or whatever it is, like they need to find that stuff out. So
But I think it's a testament to you
fair.
that that they know what cloth you're cut from, and that you're going to be ready to go, and that you know what it takes, and like you said, you've been in the tournament before, so that's a huge compliment. Congratulations.
Yeah, and I love it, and I take it seriously, and it's another opportunity to just do something you like to do, and I think my family enjoy it. And like I said, it's not a huge time commitment. It doesn't stop me from doing everything else I'm doing. It's just another really fun thing to be a part of, and I'm grateful to them because they took a chance on me in like '09 when I was in like AA, AAA, and I got to pitch on the big stage against Venezuela. I started a game, and it like really helped my confidence going forward. So wanted to pay that back to the federation and some of the young guys. For sure.
And also, I mean, I'm not to be cliche about it, but I think it's also going to be cool, like that you're going to be able to be passing on wisdom to people. I mean, this is as someone did for you in 2009, right? They'll
100%.
always remember you.
I mean, I just like that's where I'm at in my career. I mean, I was there already, but obviously you're locked into every day. But right now, I'm a complete open book with everything. So it's exciting to be able to help guys, and I'm just curious. People at the start of their journeys, it's so exciting. There's so much unknown, but in a way, you're jealous of it because it was the ride of my lifetime. So it's cool to see these guys start that.
So when the tournament's over, are you going to take the Joe Kelly route, or are you?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't
have
know.
I talked to you about that? I can't remember.
Yeah, a little bit, because like I kind of agree with him a little bit, like in the sentiment, but like at the same time, I don't know. There's a I just don't like the whole like, oh, now everybody's gonna be like, oh, congratulations. It's like I don't know. I don't like the attention of it, I guess is the
Well,
main
I think
thing.
actually, by the way, we're dominating these sort of retirements, as you might have seen. The both Joe and Rich Hill. Ooh. But Rich had a good point. I think that he said, I get it, like you did, like you said, but there is that element. It's not like the attaboy. It's more of like, I wanted to thank people. So,
Yeah.
that I think and I think that Joe's wife got a chance to do it on social media because he's not on social media. But yeah, that's an element of it. So I get it.
Yeah.
It spawned we like conversation, and it spawned a conversation. All right. Well, besides throwing a baseball, how much do you have to throw a baseball now? Like, are you throwing every day?
Yeah, throwing every day. I mean, I have a little less time. I had been throwing a little bit, but it's a different type of ramp up here. So I have thrown every day. I'm not going to throw tomorrow. I threw pretty aggressively today, and now I'm progressing to the next step. I'll throw more long, and then I'll get to the mound and try to just get as many mound sessions as I can, build up as fast as I can. That's basically the plan. Get to the mound and then do as many of those as possible.
Where does Team Italy train? Where do they go? Where do you go?
So, like when I go to Florida, I have to go to like Port Charlotte for a little while. But then after that, the team is in Mesa at the Cubs facility. So
when you go to Port Charlotte,
it's going to be sometime between the 21st of February and the end of February. So like a 4, 5, 6 day period within that stretch.
do you work this? Nobody cares about this, but I'm saying, I'm asking a question. Nobody cares, but do you work out where the Rays are?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
Yeah.
the plan. Probably the minor league side, and then I think we're supposed to scrimmage a couple minor league teams just to get live ABs or whatever. It's like, because most guys are in spring training. This camp's just going to be for those other guys like myself that aren't in spring training. So there's only going to be, I don't know. I guess who knows? I don't know how many, but not. I can't imagine it'd be too many guys.
Are there guys like you, like who sort of maybe are either have already moved on or maybe you don't have to. Don't name the list.
No,
Do not name the list.
I think I was the only one in that circumstance.
Okay.
But there's a couple guys from Italy on the list that are they don't play an affiliated stateside ball. So I think that's important to the federation too, and those guys need to get at bats.
Well, what's his name from the Angels is literally from Italy.
Yeah, he's on the list. Sam Aldegheri. He's gonna play.
Yeah. I don't mean no disrespect to Aldegheri, the Aldegheri family. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't pry Roman Anthony though, huh?
No, but it's understandable. I mean, I talked to him at the dinner. I mean, look, I mean, he's got a big rookie season coming up here. He's doing the right thing. There's plenty more tournaments.
Yeah.
The problem is in the next tournament, he might have a hard time being an Italian player because, the Stars and the Stripes might have a little bit of a gravitational pull there.
Yeah, that's all right. You did both. All right. So let's get back to the analyzing the great game of baseball. You had your baseball and coffee is awesome. I'm not saying like baseball is awesome, coffee is awesome. Baseball and coffee is even more awesome. And that's what you have brought together. So congratulations. Go get your gear, your merch. What's the hottest item right now? Baseball and coffee item.
People like the hats still. I think the hoodies, when they come out, people will probably buy those. But we're waiting on a couple more sizes before we release them. But that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to get that out there. You had talked about Bo Bichette on baseball and coffee. I'm very interested in your take on Bo Bichette. As we sit here right now, he had his press conference with the Mets. And it was part of it, Adam. Honestly, like the Dave Dombrowski stuff was like really interesting to me. Like the Dave Dombrowski, like, well, you kind of sign a memo, but you didn't sign the contract. And I mean, this is as close as you're going to come to a GM or president of baseball operations saying, listen, we thought he was coming. He was coming. Yeah. I don't know what happened. Fork in the road. He took the wrong turn and he ended up in New York. Anyway, what's your take on the whole Bo Bichette thing?
I don't have any real insight on the Philly part of it. I've never seen anything. I mean, I know a lot of people get really close one way or another. I've heard of being a minute away from signing with the team and it pivoting on a dime because that's generally how it all happens. Like you wait all this time and then it's like everything happens in a really short time period where the offers are real and decisions really have to be made. But yeah, I mean, look, to me, it seems pretty clear the Mets pivoted pretty hard. They were heavy on Tucker. We were on Tucker watch. Steve was waiting to see the smoke. It was Dodger colored, and then they had to pivot, and they pivoted hard right to Bo, and it's intriguing, and yeah, it's reactionary, and I think that can be scary, but it also might work because he's a really freaking good hitter. I don't think he's worth $47 million or whatever he'll get this year before he opts out.
Can I pause?
Yeah.
We get yes, he's not worth that, but Kyle Tucker, and this is no disrespect to Kyle Tucker. I was trying to think of a comp for Kyle Tucker, and maybe this is a real bad one, but maybe it's because I was just on the wildly, hugely popular documentary on the 2007 Red Sox. You probably saw it on Vice, maybe not. I mean, if you could find Vice, maybe. But JD Drew, I said JD Drew could be Kyle Tucker. Like JD Drew could be $60 million a year. Which obviously we would never say about JD Drew. So when you say that he's not $47 million, well, Kyle Tucker is so far from a $60 million a year guy. Anyway, that's my own rant. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, it's just bizarre because he's really young. Typically, the young free agents in the past, teams are interested in locking up them through their athletic prime. So all the way through their upper 20s into their lower 30s. You don't usually see these shorter term deals. Now the numbers have gotten huge and they're even huger. That's not a word, but they're even larger when you consider like the tax on top of it. Like Tucker's getting, it's like $100 million expenditure for the Dodgers this year. So the numbers are scary high, not scary high, but very interestingly high. And when they came out, I mean, I think they were stunning. But it's showing that when push comes to shove, the Mets are able to do that. They're able to say, you know what, we're willing to pay this guy $47 million for this year and let him walk if he has a great year and renegotiate again next year. Like we're okay going year to year in this situation, and they have the ability to do that. I don't think it was their plan A, but it might work anyway, which is the power of the money in this situation.
So let's take the Mets. Let's take everything we've talked about the Mets. We talked about them before. They took an enema to the roster. And everyone knew that there was going to be replenished again. It was never going to be like we got rid of these guys and all we're going to end up with Marcus Semien. That wasn't going to happen. So now as we sit here, you have Bichette, the guy that some people call Luis Robert. You have
Polanco.
obviously Semien, Polanco. Like, how do you view the Mets right now in terms of what they did? With the understanding that the assumption is that at some point there's going to be a pitcher coming around one way or the other. What do you think about what the Mets have done?
I mean, they accomplished some of the objectives that they set out. I think they're extremely strong up the middle now defensively. Robert is a really good defender, regardless of how he hit the last 2 years. He's going to be in center, re-energized. Semien and Lindor up the middle is unbelievable, and they have two good catchers. So they're really strong up the middle. It's a little puzzling to me, the corners defensively. Polanco's never played first. Bichette's never played third. I have no idea how either of those are going to work out. I think they're both good hitters. So I think the offense might be a little better. I actually do think the offense might produce more runs. But I'm not 100% sure they got better on defense because first base is important. Third base is important. Right field, Juan Soto was a negative defensively last year. And right now they're still, looks like they're going to play Carson Benj in left, who's a rookie and, big time talent, but never played in the big leagues. So I think this is a high variance team. You can look at it a certain way. Like, I love the Robert move. I don't think they gave up that much, and the upside is really there. Plus, they have the option on the back end of it for the next year. Who, if he's who they think he is, then that's a reasonable price. I like what they did there.
So it's funny you talk about Polanco at first and Bichette at third. I want to say that Bichette's going to be good at third because look, you can play second base without playing there in the World Series, and he seemed like he was really good. But you can speak to this. Third base is different, man. Like, at first base is different. I've seen so many different iterations of people trying to play first base, not playing there. Like, for instance, Mike Napoli bizarrely couldn't catch a pop-up. Kevin Youkilis couldn't gauge initially how far to go out with a second baseman. Bo Bichette playing third is different than playing second, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we looked at him on Baseball and Coffee, we looked at basically what has been declining with him, why his shortstop defense backed up, and it's range. It's mostly range. So if you put him at third, you have less ground to cover. Potentially, that could cover up some of that diminishing skill. His speed has really declined. Don't know how much of that was you can point to the knee or whatever, but he just doesn't seem like the same springy side-to-side athlete anymore on defense. So maybe if you put him at third, then people complain about the arm. We also watched the arm on the show the other day. It's fine. It should be enough. It won't be above average. But the reality is, like, there's so much nuance. Balls down the line, balls that you have to come in on. Like, this is all new. It's all new. So it's all a guess. I do like the fact that he doesn't have to cover as much ground. But other than that, I mean, I really don't know. I really don't know yet. It's really hard to tell.
I've been also trying to get my head around the contract. And obviously, like, is the thing that Scott Boras invented the last couple of years for guys with qualifying offers attached. And the assumption is enjoy your 1 year of this guy because he's going to opt out and then hit the market again. And so Bichette jumped at that. In large part, you make a crap load of money for a year. But also it's like 7 years at $200 million isn't bad.
No, it's great. And you can you set up your whole life at that point.
Yeah. So are we kind of poo-pooing this a little bit? Like, is this, I feel like the Phillies did it just come down to, you think that maybe you don't know, but that it was, I just rather have more options than just Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because I don't know Bo that well. I actually knew him when he was a young guy, when his dad was a hitting coach for the Rockies, and he was around some. But I don't know him that great now. I don't know. I think it's a little odd because for me, one of the things that would have been great in free agency or just in this major league life is you have some stability. You can get a place by spring training or in the city that you're going to be in. You just have your stuff there. You don't have to remove in every year. And as your family grows to this contract, comfortability is a real thing and quality of life's a real thing. And $200 million is a ridiculous amount of money, no matter how you look at it. But I mean, There's also something into the gunslinger mentality. Like, I'm going to take this big 1 year deal. I'm going to go reprove it again next year and get the same offers again, if not another $200 million offer. And like, people like that gambit, And so it's going to be intriguing because I think the Mets are going to want him to DH some, and he's going to have every incentive to not do that. He's going to have to prove that he's a defender as well if he wants to, break the bank even better. So there's a lot at play here.
But here's the thing: like Bregman didn't even have that great a year in his 1 year. It was good, but if you can just have a representative year, you can base so much on what you had done in the past. I think that's a lesson we learned from Bregman doing it anyway.
It's also, the qualifying offer clearly, is a killer. It's a killer.
Yeah. All right. Here's something that might be a straight ball right down the middle for you. I just went to the Ranger Suarez press conference. Boy, did you miss out. Yes,
Did I?
Not really. Not really. It was, yeah. So anyway, it was fine. Scott Boras was there. It was fine. I actually asked Scott Boras after. I said, hey, when do you think that some like Bellinger and some of the other guys are going to sign? And it was bizarrely very short. And now I knew, and then he jumped on the phone 2 minutes later. Then 2 minutes after that, Bellinger signed. So my instincts were not keen in that respect.
Yeah.
But the narrative that the Red Sox were pushing throughout that press conference, Breslow, was run prevention, run prevention. We think that we are going to have elite pitching, and it doesn't. I forget. Oh, the quote was like, they weren't. Breslow wasn't making any bones about it. Here's the quote. I think the improvements we made at the pitching side are significant. It can be difficult at times to fully appreciate the impact of having dominant starting pitching, but going into a game feeling like we can just play our game offensively and on the basis because our pitching is going to keep us in the game is such a huge advantage for the team. I think no matter who we're playing or any given day, we're going to feel like we've got a chance to win. That sounds great. But number one, I don't think this is like the no holds barred, unbelievable, no questions asked starting pitching set is good. But what I want to ask you is that mentality of just saying, hey, we're good enough offensively, but what we're going to be really dominant is pitching, and that'll get us through even after we just saw a World Series where home runs were everything. So anyway, what's your take when you hear that stuff?
I think that this is just kind of where the market landed for the Red Sox this year. They were able to do the Contreras move, but other than that, they've been opportunistic at times in the pitching because I think it also helps to have a surplus, have a strength. I've been wondering for a while if they're going to utilize that in some surprising way because it is crazy on paper. It goes like 9 deep. Really, when you count the Earlys and the Harrisons in there,
those guys Patrick Sandoval's and the
Patrick Sandoval, Cutter Crawford,
yeah,
there's a lot of guys. So, me personally, I was a little surprised about Ranger Suarez to the Red Sox. I didn't necessarily see that because they seem to be very stuff driven, and that's not really his game. He's in tremendous control, command pitcher. So I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that. I wonder what they're going to do with him, how they're going to tweak some things, but I don't know. I think you need to have a balanced team. Just having one dominant outfit doesn't mean anything. The Rangers had led the baseball in ERA last year, did not make the postseason. So I think you're better off being a little bit more well-rounded. I remember having long conversations about this with Justin Morneau one year when we were both on the IL. And yeah, a lot of times the formula is to just be like kind of hanging around the top 10 in both starting pitching and runs scored, starting pitching, and then also relief pitching and base running and like all the basics. If you're just like above average in everything, you're going to be probably winning a lot more than being top heavy in one area.
The Rangers thing, I forgot about that. That's a good example. That's a good comp. Like you just and by the way, I know that Crochet's awesome, and I know that Sonny Gray's has been good. I know that Ranger Suarez has been good. I know that Brian Bayo has been good, but I'll come back to it. It's like it's not like you have a bunch of Cy Young Award winners.
Well, it's not as good as the Dodgers. Yeah.
No, but that's and I don't know if you know this. The Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker, so they're not saying no. We're gonna do it this way. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd love for them to have more power in their lineup. I mean, you're needing a ton out of Roman, right now. Like, I know he might be the guy, but it's they're asking a lot out of him. Marcelo, a lot of the young guys, Contreras to continue what he's been doing. I do think losing Bregman hurt, and I know he only had one really great half last year, but Alonso I thought would have been a good fit. I think they would. They're definitely. I mean, look around the AL East. There's some powerful offenses out there. The Orioles are on the scene now, so you're going to have to go toe to toe with that at times. You're not always going to be able to shut everybody down in that division. You're going to have to put some runs up too. So it's intriguing, but I think they still have time if they want to make some more moves.
well, they're gonna make another move. But the question is, honestly, because there's no in the free agent market for what they need, which is a third baseman. They say there's no really. I mean, you could trade for a Brendan Donovan. There's no logic other than Ketel Marte, who's not going to be traded. There's no either you have a Gino Suarez who's going to hit home runs.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be the run prevention guy that you keep talking about. You have Paredes, who same sort of deal. It's offense, but certainly not as a. He's going to be locked down on third base. So there's no easy answers, is what I'm saying, I guess.
Yeah, those are two intriguing fits, though. I mean, both dead pull righty hitters at Fenway. I mean, I know that they're not great defenders, but they're intriguing in a way. I mean, Gino Suarez, I don't know what his impact on winning is on a daily basis. Like, it's hard to measure it in totality, but he hit like 40 something homers.
That's good.
That's decent.
Home runs are good.
Yeah.
Another thing I asked Breslow, which I don't think has been talked about enough, was the clubhouse stuff. We've talked about clubhouse stuff before, but they took out Bregman, which is undeniable. Like, this is part of the equation. You took out Ref Snyder, which was, another 30-something who was perceived as a leader in there. And yeah, I know Contreras is perceived as that sort of guy, but that's another element of this. And so I asked Breslow about it, and one of the things he said, well, it's the time-honored tradition of trying to figure out, does winning help that, or does that help winning? I'm like, well, I can tell you this. I think that helps winning a whole lot more than winning helps that. Because if you win and then you hit the bad times, then all of a sudden, if you don't have people to reel it in, you're not going to win anymore. Anyway, that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, winning cures everything, but most of the time you don't win all the time. So you have to deal with adversity no matter what. You better have some adults in the room. I think Story might,
Well, he's definitely part of it. Yeah,
Story, and then Crochet, and on the pitching side, those guys command a lot of respect. Obviously, Bregman. I mean, look, and I'm part of the narrative because I believe in it. Actually, at this time around, I really do think that he's a major impact beyond his own stats. So the Cubs obviously are buying in on that too. But yeah, I mean, that's a big loss. Him, Schwarber, guys like that, they don't grow on trees for sure.
Alonso too, another one, right? Sort of.
Yeah, well, sort of. No, Pete's just a joy to be around every day, and I think he's getting more smarter and smarter, more calculated as he goes. I think those guys had been through playoff battles and wars, at the very beginning of their career. That really sets you up on a huge advantage, against everybody else. When you find out what real baseball is about, games with it all on the line, going against a great opponent. With everything on the line, the stakes, that I think you learn a lot through that process.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that Alex Bregman's played in more postseason games than anybody since 2016. Last thing is, I like power ranking.
Sure.
So, give me your top three. I'll just say top three. And I'm sorry, I should have let you know this, but you're an educated man. Top three off seasons. And with the understanding that does not win you a World Series, and the Mets and the Diamondbacks were definitely like top two, top three offseason. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but it's a fun game to play. Top three off seasons for teams as we sit here right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers are number one just because they they continue to add to what they have without taking away from anything that they already had. So like Edwin's a huge impact on their bullpen, Diaz, and then Tucker. I mean, it kind of falls in their lap with what they're able to do with the Shohei effect and everything. And I think now they're in a situation where they're even more high end come postseason time to really take a shot at the three-peat. I also like what Baltimore did. Now I know it was a little bit. And maybe they're not totally done yet, but I love that they infused some power into that offense. It's pretty exciting. Pete and also
Ward, yeah, Taylor Ward.
Yeah, and like they have some big bounce back. They have a lot of the incentives and the motivation of the game is kind of lining up well for the Orioles right now. I think they're going to be a good threat, so I like what they did. Other than that, I'm not as high on the Blue Jays as some of the others.
No, that's the thing, not to interrupt you, but the Blue Jays started off strong. But if you compare what the Blue Jays did, even with the Red Sox, honestly, it's like, yeah, you did what you had to do because you had to replace Bichette and you wanted an ace. You got an ace. You took a flyer in Cody Ponce, Rogers, okay. But it's not like I don't think I would put them in the top three. Yeah.
No, I thought they were headed there. Like if they signed Tucker, I would have put them there because that was ultimately they kind of bet it all to go for that. They kind of went all in on that attempt. But I don't know. Like Ponce is an interesting one. We'll see coming back out of KBO and Cease. Like they were huge on him, and I like Cease, but he wasn't. I didn't have him rated as the number one starter, and clearly they did. So they have a disagreement. We disagree a little bit on who they picked, but I like that they were aggressive. Since then, the move I like that they did was Okamoto. I like that one a lot. But yeah, I thought they were going to do even more, so I'm not sure. Yankees have done some sneaky stuff, like the Weathers move. I like the other trade that the Cubs did with the Marlins too, for Cabrera.
I think kind of the Cubs have to be number 3, don't they?
Cubs is pretty strong.
Yeah.
I agree. They've improved. They've improved.
Cabrera, Bregman, relievers.
Their reliever choice has been interesting. Hunter Harvey and Phil Maton, like kind of like polar opposites there, like kind of touching both sides of that market. Like, the super nasty velocity guy who's not as reliable, and then like the guy who is super reliable but not scaring anybody. So interesting. Yeah.
So that'd be your 3. Dodgers, Orioles, Cubs.
Dodgers, Orioles, Cubs. Yeah.
That's a good one. Once again, excellent work. What do you got coming up on Baseball and Coffee?
Well, Friday I got to do a night show because I got to go do something during the day on Friday, so I'm missing the morning. So I'll do a night show, and I obviously will talk about Bellinger going back to the Yankees now that happened, and a couple of the other complimentary moves. And then we'll get ready for I think pretty soon I might start talking college baseball for a little bit. Because there's a little bit of a lull here before it makes sense to dive into spring training. The nice thing that the one thing about baseball that's interesting is at least for my show that's nice is that what the trickle works for me. The trickle of moves. It's not so great for me when 3 things happen in one day because I'm like, oh man, I can't stretch that out over 3 or 4 shows. So
let me so one of the challenges, no one cares about this, but I'll say it anyway. One of the challenges, obviously, because you're an avid subscriber to the podcast. We do this almost pretty much every day. So I have to have I love it because I talk to interesting people like yourself all the time. I like talking to GMs. It's one of the people I like talking to. It's challenging to do it this offseason, though, because for instance, you don't know, they might be like, I'm working on stuff. I'm literally busy. They might say they're busy a lot of times, but I think they're really literally busy now. It's been a challenge. No one cares, but I'm just saying.
It's a trickle, but this has been a little more positive, I think, than it has been the last couple of years. I mean, all of my top 20 are signed except for Framber Valdez. So
where's he land? Give me your prediction.
No idea. I thought he was an Oriole for a while, but now I don't know. Shoot.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
I asked Scott Boras about Michael Kopech today. I don't know if you know this, but he said he's the highest end arm reliever left. So I don't know.
No, I mean he's got huge, like, he's young. So
Yeah. Well, we're contractually obligated to mention Michael Kopech at least once until he signs. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your excellence.